Let's go to Cabecita then. Give me your overall thoughts on the move based on price, based on fit, all that good stuff. Tell me what you think.
So I think it's a, a really good move for what the team needs. This team needs a striker. We talked about it in our not so deep dive series when we talked about Portland. We said there's a really good core here. They have opportunity to add more because they had two designated player spots open. We figured one might be used on that striker spot, even though they had a couple of players there who could maybe get the job there, like Felipe Mora. But they really needed to upgrade that spot. They needed a clinical goal scorer, and I'm glad that that's the position that they went for here. It looks like transfer fee of 4 million, transfer market values him at 4 million, so it seems to be a pretty fair price to bring him in. I wish I knew more about him because I just kind of am going off box scores, and it looks like he's very up and down. He was lights out with Cruz Azul. 16 goals in his second season there, then 21 goals in the season after that. Uh, Currently coming off of a stint with Club America, 11 goals last season, 7 goals so far this season. It's solid. It's pretty good. I think you'd be happy if you got that from him this season. But I think going into next year and his ceiling, you're looking for him to hit those Cruz Azul numbers. I think the worst case scenario is he hits those Santos numbers when he was there a bit younger, when he was about 23 to 25. Really was averaging a little bit less than 10 goals a year. If you're getting that as your out of your designated player striker, that's just not good enough for Portland. Like they have a really good team together. They need their striker to be scoring goals. If I knew a bit more about how he like his game style, the way he played, I'll kind of leave that to the Liga MX fans that listen. I'm sure they know him much better on whether or not he'd be a good fit. But I like the idea of it. He's shown flashes to be a really strong striker, even though there was 10 penalties taken that season. I am going to give it the benefit of the doubt and say that this is going to be a really good move for them and make them a contender at the top of the West, if they were not already.
Yeah, listen, I'm excited for this one. We mentioned again, you kind of hit a bunch of these points here that we mentioned that they really were just a DP9 away from being elite, right? Like Mora was a DP9, but like a one that fits with them. Mora was okay, not great. Um, you know, they're looking for this designated player number 9, and in comes this guy who scores a goal every 3 matches in Mexico. They don't overpay for him, which I think at one point there was some rumors going on that there was a Mexican league striker that was being rumored for like 15 million or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, from Monterrey. It was
Yeah, from Monterrey.
some of the B. I can't remember it exactly. Like
Yeah,
Bertarme or something like that. I
yeah,
can't remember.
yeah. You're right. Yeah, it is
I
Bertarme. Yeah.
probably butchered that so bad, but they'll
Um,
know who we're talking about.
yeah. Right. So you're getting talent without overpaying for it. A little bit older, 30 years old, which is fine to fit into this group that I believe is built to win now, right? This isn't a rebuilding. Let's find somebody who's gonna grow and we're gonna trend, they're looking to win right now, which is great. I think when I looked 7 of his 9, the half seasons that they do in Mexico, he had at least 5 goals in 7 of those 9. I think when you put them together, I think of those 5 years or so, I think 4 of them he had 10 plus goals in. Listen, he's going to get in, he's going to get on goal. He's got great service coming in, right? Front line of Cabecita, Anthony, Evander, Moreno, mix in Espria, um, you know, Eric Williamson going forward when he can. Um, just it feels really good, right? Um, so that kind of one of my questions for that move was going to be, does this make them favorites in the West? And you kind of answered it already, but I'll see if you can expand on that a little bit.
I'm trying to call back. I think I had Seattle originally as my top in the West and Dallas too. I mean, so this is a little unfair because I got to see a little bit of how these teams are shaping up to start the season, but I I'll go out on the limb and say that yeah, I think they're the favorites for the West now with the signing. I think Seattle just has not enough attack in them, and Dallas clearly just has not been able to click so far. So Portland's looked good so far, and now they're adding a really good talent to a position that they needed. I think they're the favorites. If I could redo my standings right now, I'd put them number one in the West.
Just checking your posted something here. You had them at 3. Yep. Yeah. Dallas at 2. You had Seattle at 1. I
Think you had them pretty high up too.
I had them at 5.
Still, that's
Relatively high, but
could still be pretty close at 5.
yeah. Listen, for me, I wouldn't be shocked if this team is in line for a supporter shield run. On paper, right? Because I think Miami's going to drop off. We've talked about that. But on paper, this group is only going to be stopped by the depth of their attack, right? Those front 4 or 5 that we talked about, great. The next person up after that, not so strong. If they can all stay healthy and click the way that Neville wants them to click, oh man, this is going to be a really fun team to watch. The problem is every year they've always had 1 or 2 big injuries that have set them back and prevented them from being at the level that they should be at, right? But yeah, everybody healthy on paper, maybe one of the best teams in MLS.
Yeah, I could 100% agree. I could see this definitely being a team challenging for support shield.
Right, like their midfield, their center midfield group is 2-3 deep at either spot. Maybe missing a secondary playmaker, but that's okay. You can work around that. We talked about it. The back line all the way across, very strong, very deep. Kripo, one of the best goalkeepers in the league. Like, it's built to be very, very good. But again, when things are built to be very, very good in MLS, they usually end up being the opposite. So hopefully this isn't the case there.
Yeah, I think we may have just placed our curse on Portland. Sorry, Portland fans.
Yeah, that's on us. Sorry, y'all.
Maybe we can switch it right now. Portland's finishing dead last.
All right. Well, that's our little touch on Cabecita. Let's go over then to our friend Olivia.